What's up, everybody? Circus here coming at you with this week's Rye Report, and it's going to be a short one because there's nothing to talk about except Rye's new haircut growing out. That's all we're
It's
talking
crazy.
about. Yeah,
Whenever I buzz my head, it's like I have three new haircuts. I've got the bald, the buzz, and then the too long. I need to cut it. It's something
right.
else.
It just overnight.
I feel for you.
This past week was the tale of two cities, I guess. Tale of before the box and after the box.
Yeah. This is shaping up to be one awful meta. I have conspiracy theory. All right.
Oh
You
no!
remember
Oh
when?
no!
Do you remember when Shiranui was the best deck, and people were like, "No, don't nerf level augmentation. No, it's not that strong. It's just Shiranui." Da 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 da. Konami was like, "We really want to nerf more skills and kill them, but we can't because people like level augmentation. What don't people like? Dark Lords. What if we combine the two?
Right.
And then when we nerf it, everyone will be like, "Thank God, thank you, Konami."
Yes.
That's it's listen, they're coming for me now.
Well, what happened this past week? The first half of the week, Blue Eyes just dominated every tournament.
Yeah.
And then the box came out, and then after that, only Dark Lords won every tournament. They won like 5 tournaments straight because of their new card. It's really one card, isn't that amazing? That just makes it so much better.
It's one card, but it's interesting because the meta is still also evolving right now. Because it definitely hasn't settled. Because now what happened is Blue Eyes players started playing more back row, which is a scary thought.
Right.
You're seeing things like Fiendish Chain, the Book of Moons are coming back in. People took them out for a while there. The Karma Cut is coming back. Like all these things that Blue Eyes is trying to do just to avoid the mock bike. And this has kind of forced the mock to become a side deck card. We did the $500 tournament, the one that Yosinju won somehow.
Yeah, I was like, what? How did that happen?
I think that was more of because people were trying to fluctuate their decks to try and counter each other. All of a sudden, people were they were bricking more, so if you're playing Star Seraph, Mock, and Dark Lords, you're gonna have games where you brick, right? And if you're bricking and you go up against a stall player, if they draw enough cards, you're in the stall zone permanently.
Right.
You're not leaving that stall zone, you're losing.
Which is what we saw in the finals, right? I was watching it because when you announced the finals, I'm like, oh, this is a quick 2-0 for Dark Lords. But then the guy bricked twice in a row, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Couldn't do anything. And I was like the second game was probably he could have done something, but the first game he just straight up just bricked and lost to a Yosinju OTK that you never see happen. It's just not something that happens. So, and things like Weather Painters and stuff like that, they're scoring high. Not even just that tournament, just in general. I think they actually won a tournament not too long ago.
They did, yeah.
So, it's kind of like stall is a very, very distant fourth best strategy just because like the decks are becoming a little bit more inconsistent trying to counter each other right now. So the meta is still developing for sure. We also had Harpy Ladies win a tournament the other day. I don't think that, has too much implication right now.
Well, I mean, they only beat Thunder Dragons, let's be honest here.
Yeah, they beat Thunder Dragons, which is a totally dead deck. That deck cannot function in this current metagame because they're all monster effects.
How dare you, sir?
The truth hurts, chat. They can't function against Mock unaffected by monster effects, and they're literally all monster effects. And it's not like a deck that you can, it's not like Blue Eyes where you can just toss in Fiendish Chain and you're fine. That deck the reason it doesn't play back rows, it literally cannot. It would brick even more than it already does.
Isn't their core like out of 30 cards? Isn't their core 29 cards or something like that?
Something really crazy.
They have room for one Karibo in there.
Yeah. So we're definitely in what I would consider a 2-deck format. We talked a little bit before the video started. Automats are a distant third. And they're just the Blackwing of our era, right? They're always going to be. They always have the potential OTKU. They have the really broken skill that makes them super consistent. The most consistent deck in the game right now. This literally can open whatever you want, whenever you want. So it's always going to be a distant third. But in terms of actual deck strength, raw deck strength, it doesn't compete with the Dark Lords and the Blue Eyes decks. And it's going to be interesting to see who takes first place in the power rankings this week, because Last week it was like 1 point difference, I think,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
which is pretty crazy. And when you look at the games, it's not like Blue Eyes is still the most represented, which makes sense. It's cheaper.
400
Um,
people played it last week.
yeah, that's
400 people. That's crazy.
crazy. And then, but the crazier thing is when you look at the top cut, only recent, like some tournaments, yes, Dark Lords overtake, but a lot of tournaments, it's still Blue Eyes with the most
Right.
toppage. So it's one of those things where I'm just interested to see where the meta continues to adapt. I don't think it'll be too much adaptation. I think it'll literally just be Blue Eyes adapting to Dark Lords, and then Dark Lords unable to adapt because everything's on the limit list. So
I think it's funny that people still complaining that like Blue Eyes needs a nerf, and I try to remind people that the meta is actually at a very low power level right now, especially compared to the last one. People forget how strong some of those decks were, like Shiranui and Element Sabers and all that. We just need more power creep at this point, right?
Well, and that's always been the problem with Konami, right? They nerf the game without releasing proper support that makes it interesting. So what happens is they nerf decks, and then we just go back to older decks that used to work. And like because in reality, yeah, these Dark Lord and Blue Eye strategies probably would not work in older metas. We don't, and it's crazy because like you're saying, low power level, but we don't have to even go back that far. Even going back to Noble Knights, Desperado, Karakuri, Witchcrafter, these are all stronger strategies. All of these decks, like Harpies, for example, they are all discount Shiranui or discount Karakuri, right? Like this is just another deck where if they go first and set up, excellent. If they go second, they need Forbidden Lance or Hey True Nate or something. Otherwise,
or
if that first summon is interrupted, they lose, right? Hey, Noble Knights did that. Oh, hey, Karakuri did that. It's like it keeps going back and back. The thing is, Shiranui did all that, but then they also had effects from the graveyard, so they never really lost out on resources. You know what I mean?
And they could run a lot more back row, and
and it's like, oh, you're gonna banish my Shiranui? All right, I activate their effects, type of thing. And so it just feels like all these decks are us playing discount Shira, and it's like crazy to think that if they just totally unlimited Shiranui, it would just fill its role back in and kill all those decks on its own.
Have you ever seen someone use Karma Cut against Harpy Lady on the field when their grave is full of Harpy cards?
Oh yeah, and they're all hilarious. They're all Harpy ladies. Yeah,
they're all gone.
Yeah, I mean,
and then they don't do anything in the banish zone, like you're saying with Shiranui. At least they can do something from there or whatever. But
yeah, I know like Harpy ladies are still getting support too. They're getting the Oracle, but from what I understand, that's just more. It's kind of like another extender type of play thing. I don't think it's going to solve the problem of them, losing to just one interrupt type of thing.
Right.
It's funny because it's like, yesterday I was playing on the ladder with Noble Knights, and I didn't draw my parallel twister, which is my out to like back row, and the opponent literally had one set back row and like two just any generic monsters. And I was like, well, I'm going to summon Madrat and lose. Watch. Summon Madrat, got Raigeki breaked, I lose.
Game over.
And that's what a lot of decks have been
for
a while now. And under like Shiranui's rule, right? It's you had ways to continue your plays, your ballista squads, or, if you at least could survive with a Canadia, you could next turn summon from the grave. And none of these decks can do that. So they're just going to always be kind of that linear feel to them. Harpies is just fresher, so people aren't minding it too much right now. But if in the next ban list they murder Dark Lord, they murder Blue Eyes, and Harpy, does become the second or third best in that arena under automats and stuff like that, which is what people expect, kind of stuff, water, automats, Harpies, those decks to kind of come in. Thunder Dragons probably too. It'll just be that linear deck that no one really likes playing against again. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm always one for having new decks in the meta, so seeing Harpies here is nice. But like you said, probably not going to be real powerful for a while yet. But it just depends what happens after the KC Cup here. Maybe we'll see a ban list. Maybe we won't.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably for sure see something, but it's more of how powerful is it going to be, right? Like, are we going to come in and murder Dark Lords? Murdering level augmentation, that means Blue Eyes is still going to be the best deck. What do you do for Blue Eyes? That's the mascot. That's the virtual Kaiba event. Can you imagine new players? They watch that stream. I'm going to go play Duel Links because people get to play against Kaiba. I'm going to be Kaiba, and then boom, your deck's dead. That doesn't make any sense.
They'll just take a card that doesn't get used a whole lot and then put that to 2 like they did with Dark Magician, So.
Oh man.
All right, guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you happy with the meta? Do you want it to change? I want it to change, but I want it to get stronger. I just want things to be power crept more
Please, yes.
than nerfs. So let us know what you think. But make sure to get in our Discord because it's free. The tournaments are free. The new player help is free. And we're going to get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Rye.
Bye, YouTube.
We'll see you next time.